Jackson back with you at Song Mentor. Today's relaxed selection is Van Morrison's Into the Mystic, which was released on his 1969 LP Moondance. Into the Mystic has been compared with Paul McCartney's Yesterday, in that both of them are said to have created a perfect blend of lyric and music, and really to create a masterpiece. It's interesting that the song, and I don't know where people come up with these statistics, the song is the most used song by doctors and surgeons while performing surgery. It's a very relaxing piece. And Van Morrison intended this to be an ethereal spiritual journey. And really, he says, in the end, the song is about being part of the universe. Here's Van Morrison's Into the Mystic. All right, wearing green today. Van Morrison, after all. Into the Mystic is recorded in the key of E flat, which means we bring out the capo. Now, I did research this and messed around with it a lot, including open D tuning, which is really kind of a neat sound. Experimented with the key of D with the capo on the first fret, using chords based around D. But ultimately, I decided that for a useful campfire version of this that you guys can learn and play on your own, I thought the best solution was capo on the third fret with a C chord bass for the song. So that's how we're going to work with this. We're going to use right in there for Into the Mystic. So let's talk about the chords you need. Now again, I could call this an E flat chord, but I'm not going to. I'm going to call it a C chord, even though it ends up with the capo on the third fret being an E flat. We're going to call it a C chord. So you need a C chord. And then I will tell you that after we work with the C chord, we're going to work with some hammers on and off and some susses and that sort of thing to play around with that C chord a little bit. You also need an open G, which we are also going to sus, like so, and we'll talk about that later. You need an E minor chord, and just for I wouldn't normally suggest this, but for this song, I'm going to suggest that you use the first and second fingers to form the E minor chord, and that will free up fingers 3 and 4 to do a little bit of riffing that we're going to do here. So you need that E minor chord. And you need an F major bar chord, like that. Well, as is the case with a lot of songs, but I'm going to say in particular a song like Into the Mystic. Just the title and the feel of the song tells you there's going to be texture to the feel and the strumming and how we play these chords. Now there's a lot of little intricate guitar work here, but if I suggest you play that, that's assuming you have a bass line playing consistently in the background and a steady downbeat, and the other parts of the song that you're not going to have. So we're going to opt for something a little more consistent in what we play, rather than all the fancy sort of off follow-up kinds of stuff that's being played in the song. And what we're looking for here is a nice textured, steady rhythm. And so here's what I've come up with based on around the song and what I've gleaned from others. Okay, and that's going to be the root. That C chord with that playing around is going to be the root to the song. So I'm going to start by strumming the C chord, and you can actually hammer on that second finger start the C chord. Okay. You see what I'm doing there? I'm adding the pinky to the 6th fret of the 4th string, hammering on with the second finger to the C chord. And then lifting that off again, lifting the pinky off and the the second finger off again, and hammering back down. So it's just a cycle. But you notice how I'm also layering the intensity of how I'm strumming here? And this just gives it that ethereal kind of quality that I think Van Morrison wanted in this song. We were born before the wind. Kind of like that. So that's how we're going to work with the C chord there, and just in case you missed the right hand. And again, if we're going to vary the intensity. All right, well, let's talk about how to take 4 measures of that using that C chord as the intro. And we'll also try and incorporate a little bit of the slapping, the muted slapping that is included in the song. So something like this. So 4 times through, and you notice how I'm slapping and muting. I just want to make sure that my heel of my hand here is fully muting those strings when I slap down. We were born to follow wind. So younger than the sun. That's our switch to the G. Now, you can see there that I kind of eliminated the slapping once we started into the first verse of the song. Just we want to, you know, it's a neat way to intro the song and then get rid of it, and we'll get right into. Okay, so switching to the G chord. Also younger than the sun. Okay, so when we switch to the G, to sus it, what we're going to do is take our pointer finger and add it to the 4th fret of the 2nd string. Where it would be if we were forming a C chord. Okay, that's just going to sus that chord, so we end up with. Okay, so let's do a playthrough of what we've learned so far, which will include 4 bars of intro featuring that muted slap, and then we'll play through 2 verses. We'll add the vocal, everything up to the change to the E minor chord. Yeah, the mighty boat won as we sail into the misty. I can now hear the sailors cry, smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the misty. now we hit that wonderful little section, and when that foghorn blows, which is the E minor chord. And if you remember, I asked you to grab that E minor with your first and second fingers, which frees up fingers 3 and 4 to kind of assimilate this little riff that he plays, which is kind of like this. Okay, so we're going to add that in, and that's basically picking down on 2, up on 1. They're open there, and then we fill in with our third finger on the 5th fret of the first string, and then hammer on with our pinky to the 6th fret of the first string. Okay? If you practice playing that a few times, then eventually we can include the E minor chord in with that as follows. Okay, so we're strumming the E minor and then adding that little riff in there. To the F bar chord, and then back to the C. And repeated. The F major again. And that finishes off the section. So we play through the E minor with the riff. The F, and then repeat it, and then G sus to G, then we get into the next verse. All right, let's do a little playthrough of the foghorn blows section of the song, and we'll go from the end of a verse. 1, 2. Smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the mystic. And when that foghorn blows, I will be coming home. And when the foghorn blows, I want to hear it. Well, I don't have to fear it, and I want to rock your gypsy soul. The last little section to show you is this how we can recreate, to a certain extent anyway, that wonderful horn section. Ba, 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 that little bit. And using that C chord bass again. So then right after the horn section, it heads back into the foghorn blows section. But all we're doing to kind of assimilate that little horn section there is we're just emphasizing those notes. Simple enough. To the G with the sus. One more time. All right, how to end Into the Mystic. Well, we're going to go through the when the foghorn blows section again, the E minor, and then with the F, I will be coming home. And when that foghorn blows, I gotta hear it. I don't have to fear it, and I wanna rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in days of old. Together we will flow into the mystic. Come on, girl. And there we go into. Play through that again. And one more time to the G. Okay, so we play through that horn section again. Go back to the G, G sus one more time to finish it off, and then end on a straight C chord to end the song. So let's play through again from the beginning of Foghorn Blows the second time. We'll do our final little playthrough here of the last section of the song. 1, 2, 3. And when that foghorn blows, you know I will be coming home. To hear it, I don't have to fear it, and I wanna rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in the days of old. And together we will float into the mystic. Come on, girl. All right, fine-tuning for Into the Mystic. And what I said from the onset is we'd try to come up with something a little more consistent as far as backing yourself up with guitar here. So we came up with as a nice bass for the song. I also said you try your best to emphasize a little bit of changes in dynamic there. And of course, the great and wonderful Jim Morrison was, if you listen to versions of this song, he'll never sing it the same twice. And that's the beauty of Jim Morrison, is his phrasing is so incredible, very difficult to duplicate. So I'm not even going to begin to try, but well, I did try in spots to duplicate some of the phrasing. But the bottom line is you're going to sing this on your own, in your own style, and with your own phrasing, and something that feels comfortable while you're playing along on the acoustic. There you go. Into the Mystic, an ethereal journey of the human spirit. We'll see you next time on Song Mentor.